Om. 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 Let us pay our respects to Patanjali Maharshi. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिम् आनतोऽस्मि नित्यम् हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ My humble pranams to all Atma Jyotis, divine light of the self. I welcome all of you to today's session of Yoga Sutra. I am not a Pandita, I am not a Jnani, I am not a Guru. I am just a seeker, I am just a sadhaka. I am conducting this study hour as a means for my learning. If I make any mistakes, please forgive me. So far, we have studied up to Yoga Sutra, chapter 1, Sutra number 42. Today, we will be studying chapter 1, Sutra number 43. So, we are studying Yoga Sutra with the help of Vyasa Bhashya. So, there is a Avataranika, which is a connection between previous sutra and this sutra. Vyasa Bhashya Avataranika. Yada punaha Shabda Sanketa Smruti Parishuddhau Shrutanumana Jnana Vikalpa Shunyayam Samadhi Prajnayam Swarupa Matrenavasthito Ardhastat Swarupakara Matra Tayevavachidyate Sacha Nirvitarka Samapattihi Tatparam Pratyaksham Tatcha Shrutanumanayor Bijam Tataha Shrutanumane Prabhavataha Nacha Shrutanumana Jnana Sahabhutam Tad Darshanam Tasmad Asankirnam Pramanantarena Yogino Nirvitarka Samadhijam Darshanamiti Nirvitarkayaha Samapatterasyaha Sutrena Lakshanam Dyotyate. What is this? In the previous sutra, we have seen Savitarka Samapatti. In this sutra, we are going to see Nirvitarka Samapatti. So, what he is saying is, in the previous sutra, what we have seen, Shabda Ardha Jnana will be mixed up in the Savitarka Samapatti. They are all together. In Nirvitarka Samapatti, it is free of Shabda Sanketa Smruti Parishuddhau. There is no Shabda Jnana. Smruti Jnana also will not be there. So, what happens is a yogi will do meditation on an object. Let us say is meditating on an object. Object can be a figure, a figurine, some symbol. Now, when he starts meditating on that, he or she will have a sound associated with that and a smruti jnana associated with that. Let us say I take a object, a figurine of a cow, and I am meditating on that. Now I know that it is called cow, and I know that there is a jnanam of a cow. Now in Nirvitarka Samadhi, the sound is not there anymore. And the Smruti Jnana, the remembrance of cow, is also not there. Only the object of that cow figurine shines in the consciousness. That is called Nirvitarka Samapatti. And this kind of knowing something where it is not polluted by name and the meaning. Just a plain object is perceived as it is. This forms the bijam, basis of all the scriptures. See, in scriptures we know that rishis have seen something, drashta, mantra drashta, and they have given us that. And all the knowledge comes from rishis. Rishis have this kind of knowledge where they perceive the object as it is without any shabda and smruti jnanam. As it is, the object shines in their consciousness and they perceive it and they understand it. This kind of knowledge is the basis on which scriptural knowledge is formed. So one who has Nirvitarka Samadhi, his understanding forms the basis of scriptures. That is the bijam of Shruta Anumane. Both Shruti knowledge and Anumana knowledge has the bijam in this kind of Nirvitarka Samapatti. And those who take the help of that kind of Shruti knowledge and Anumana knowledge, they cannot gain this kind of direct perception. This is called para pratyaksha. Direct, supreme direct perception. And those who take the help of Shrutis and Anumana cannot gain this kind of para pratyaksha jnanam. To show this para pratyaksha and nirvitarka, the sutra 43 is being told. This is the Avataranika. So let us say the sutra number 43. Smruti parishuddhau Swarupa shunye vardhamatra nirbhasa nirvitarka. One more time. Smruti parishuddhau स्वरूप शून्यवार्धमात्र निर्भासा निर्वितर्का. One more time. स्मृति परिशुद्धौ स्वरूप शून्यवार्धमात्र निर्भासा निर्वितर्का. What this means is when the smruti jnanam takes a back seat, it is removed from the yogi, from the meditating yogi. Removed means when he is deeply meditating on an object, only the object shines in its true parapratyaksha. And what he has learned about that object in school, the name and the meaning, doesn't shine in his consciousness. He directly perceives a parapratyaksha perception happens. And ardhamatra nirbhasa. Only the object of meditation, the ardha, the meaning of that is shining in his or her consciousness. This is called nirvitarka samapatti, samprajnata samadhi. Nirvitarka samapatti, same as nirvitarka samprajnata samadhi. So we'll see Vyasa Bhashya for this. I will not read the entire Vyasa Bhashya, I'll give the gist of it. What it says is, the Shabda Artha Jnana Shruta Anumana. Shabda, we have seen in Sutra number 42. When you want to talk about a cow, you say cow. That is Shabda, that's sound. Shabda means sound. The sound cow has an associated meaning, artha, which means an animal with 4 legs, horns, tail, eats grass and gives milk. And then in the mind there is a illumination of a cow. A cow is perceived in the mind. So Shabda, Artha, Jnana, 3 things happen. This we have seen. Now, not only that, he is also saying Shruta. Shruta means knowledge obtained from scriptures, listening, and Anumana, inference, logical conclusion. All this Shabda, Artha, Jnana, Shruta, Anumana, when all these are removed, are gone from the meditator about an object on which he is meditating, and only that object is shining in his or her consciousness in a parapratyaksha, supreme direct perception. That prajna, that consciousness Padartha Matra Swarupa. It becomes Padartha Matra. The object of meditation is shining alone in his or her consciousness. And the meditator becomes one with the object of meditation. The consciousness becomes that. That is called Nirvitarka Samapatti. Similarly, there are many acharyas who have given a vyakhyanam, vyakhyatam, vyakhyan kiya hai, vyakhyan, they have done a vyakhyan. They have done a explanation of Nirvitarka Samapatti like this only. They said Eka Buddhyupakramaha, meaning a single pointed minded, single minded perception. Of the object. Now, they said, now the thing we have to understand is, let us say there is an object. Is it an integrated whole or made up of parts? Some say it is made up of parts. If it is made up of parts, let us say there is a pot. You hold one edge of the pot and raise it. The other edge should be down only, because one part is being lifted, the other part will stay down only. But if you lift the pot, the entire pot is lifted. That means even though different paramanu, the atoms come together, all of them come together as an integrated whole, and it is called a pot. The integrated whole is called pot. If you break the pot, the potness vanishes. Something else becomes there. Now it is no more a pot. When it is in that integrated whole, that is called a pot. And that integrated whole as a pot is what is perceived in Parapratyaksha by the meditator, not the individual parts. This integrated whole is called avayavi. Avayavi means what? Avayava means my hand is a avayava, my head is a avayava, and I am avayavi, who has the avayava. Now, the avayavi is an integrated whole. If you cut off something from that, it becomes a different avayavi, not the same avayavi, it becomes a different avayavi. So, if you are meditating an object, it is an avayavi and it is integrated whole. Similarly, gau or ghata, a cow or a pot, are perceived as an integrated whole, not as made up of parts. They are called as avayavi. And it is perceived as one object, not as made up of many objects. And it is perceived as a big object. One object, big object, and you can touch it and you can do some work with that, do some kriya with that. And the avayavi is a temporary phenomena. It may get destroyed also. And this is how all objects, avayavis, are there in the world. What are the characteristics of an avayavi? It is an integrated whole, and you act with that. It has a form, it has a gross form. You can interact with that, you can touch it, you can move it, you can do some action with it, and it is temporary. It may get destroyed at some point of time. Then it becomes a different avayavi. And those who say that there are some philosophers who say that every object is made up of individual parts. Therefore, the avayavi is a mithya. It doesn't, it is a mithya. Mithya means illusion. Avayavi is an illusion. And if you break up like that individual parts, what you will end up is a very sukshma paramanu, very atomic in nature. So if you look at the entire world, everything is a avayavi made up of parts, and you break up into parts, it will end up with a small particles. And we have to assume that the small particles cannot be divided further. Of course, the modern science says the atom can be divided. That's where we got atom bomb. And even subatomic particles can be divided. And even everything, basically now physics says, as of now in 2025, it is all energy. There is no matter at all. That's what the physics says. It's all energy. What we call as atom is energy. So if you look at that, then it is no matter. It is mithya. But at that time when this book was written, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it was not known that atom can be divided. It was assumed that atom is indivisible. So there is a small particle called atoms, anu, which make up into bigger objects called avayavi. So avayavi is a mithya as per some philosophers. And this is knowledge of an avayavi is a mithya jnanam, illusory knowledge. Some philosophers opine like that. However, the philosopher Vyasa Bhashya says that is not right. The avayavi is available to us. We can see it. The cow is available to us. We can see it. The pot is available to us. We see it. The different atoms come together and form a cow. But the cow itself is not made up of atoms. It's a avayavi. It has its own satta, existence, as a integrated whole. That's what he is saying. And if you break it, that satta gets destroyed, that avayavi gets destroyed, and something else happens. Therefore, the perception of cow as the integrated whole, as avayavi, happens in the deep meditation. If you are meditating on a cow, irrespective of shabda, artha, jnana, shruta, and anumana jnana. The object is perceived as it is. It shines in the person who is meditating. That is called nirvitarka samapattehi, also known as nirvitarka samprajnata samadhi. And nirvitarka samprajnata samadhi gives a para pratyaksha, direct supreme perception, and this forms the basis of all scriptural knowledge. That's what Vyasa Bhashya is saying. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Krishnarpanamastu.